also want to just touch base. I know a lot of people have said this is incredibly restrictive.
It's shameless. It's shameless.
And if you look around at other states, I think certainly in the newspaper they cover that you can't have events like that in the United States Capitol. If you look around the Midwest, particularly in Minnesota, within the...
How long are you going to keep talking about this? This doesn't help me.
We're not in Minnesota, and you said no legal issues.
All I'm telling you is what policies are in place of other states.
And you said you weren't going to talk about legal issues.
This isn't a legal issue, it's just a policy.
Like you're talking about out of state.
And what they do, they will require people 7 days before they have their event. We absolutely
shame. We're not in there. Those fascists over there.
This is a Badger state. They also have that no public rally can take place in the
Badger state. This is shameless. They're fascists, we're Badgers.
There was also some questions about the noise limits. We have a 90 decibel in our permit. We got 85 in the state of Minnesota.
But we're not there.
Utah does that as well.
You're wasting our time, sir. They're refusing to take questions.
What I think some of the other states, Massachusetts, is
wasting time. Yeah, how about the Badger state? The only state you're qualified to talk about.
In Indiana, they have they place several restrictions on the permits.
Well, what about the Badger state? You don't know anything about the Indiana. You're wholly unqualified to waste our time. Sir, this is shameful. It has nothing to do with Indiana. This has nothing to do with those states.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
people can't hear in the back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting complaints over here. No one can hear our Deputy Secretary speak. And the reason we can't hear him speak right now, we got interrupted. Can we provide respect to everyone? When you get a chance to speak, we're not going to listen to you and no one's going to talk. Please allow him to say what he has to say. Respect him, please. Okay, well, you can step out and come back if you want to. Let him speak.
And he's talking about our state.
Okay, I want to give you perspective. One more state. And what they do in the state of Massachusetts. That with their building usage, the weddings, graduation parties, or political activities of any kind are not allowed in the state house or on state grounds. The purpose of this is to indicate that when you look over the course of the whole country of what's been done and how the policies are put together and what they have in place, here in Wisconsin, the policy that we've put in place provides a great deal of access for people to have public events within the state capital. That's not true everywhere. So I think that I'm happy to try to answer some of your questions. Now, let me, if there's a question, again, if you want to have a legal debate, we're not going to have a legal debate here. It's not the right forum.
You will stifle.
I will, if you ask me a legal question, I will tell you I can't answer that. This is not the right forum. If you find that frustrating and you continue to ask me that question, we'll go back and forth as long as we need to on that. But that's the reality of it.
Stonewall.
So with that, sir.
She has to go.
I'm sorry, you have to go for it. Yeah.
Thank you. 2 quick questions. Will I be arrested for going to the Solidarity Sing-Along?
It's not our hope is never to have to do that for anybody. We'd like to get voluntary compliance there. And that's the work. That's the work of the chief.
If I choose to sing at the Solidarity
There is the enforcement part of the policy, and it's on page 8, by the way, item T. Any person who refuses to adhere to the conditions applicable in the state facilities, generally or specific conditions as noted in the policy, is subject to immediate removal from the state facility at the discretion of the state capitol police. In addition, any forfeitures or criminal penalties provided by law. Nothing contained in here shall be construed as limiting prosecution under any existing or future laws. Now, I think any of you who have dealt with the police chief in the past and his staff, and this is true going forward as well. People wonder if I somehow unknowingly have created an event, will I be immediately arrested? No, the chief and his group are going to work with people who are in that situation and say, here's what the situation is. If you're going to do this, you're going to need a permit. Now, if people want to escalate it from there, that's a different issue. But our #1 issue is to get voluntary compliance.
That was not my experience with the Capitol Police when I was arrested at the Tea Party rally. My experience was that Sarah Palin's security came running over and said arrest her, and I was put down, face down in the mud in a compliance hold. My concern is the uneven application of permit laws that's already been demonstrated by the Capitol Police. For example, the permit that the Tea Party rally had specifically stated that there would be no tents or structures on the Capitol grounds. In fact, there were tents and 2x4 structures that had been erected, and they were permitted by the Capitol Police, whereas people who were trying to see over the structures in order to view Sarah Palin were put in compliance holds and arrested. Now, sir, I don't think that I can accept your qualifications that there's an even-handed application of permits or of the law that has been experienced by the people who are attending these rallies. Are you familiar with the constitutions of the states of Minnesota, Indiana, and Massachusetts?
I'm not a legal expert.
Well, sir, then it's not important what their permitting process is. What is important is the Constitution of Wisconsin, which says that there shall be no law abridging the freedom of the people to assemble.
Now, we believe... We believe we have done our legal research. No. And it is within our both authority and responsibility to manage state facilities.
However, the unprecedented number of lawsuits that this governor has precipitated.
She didn't get her question answered because you.
I'm sure.
One last quick question. Was there a school group that was permitted to be in the Capitol Rotunda today?
Yes, there was a group.
When did they file their permit?
They filed a permit, I believe, yesterday.
So that was 24 hours and not
correct.
72 hours.
That is correct. And Dan, I'm going to let you step up. And there were some circumstances on why that happened, okay? And which we have always tried to allow. Very few, if any, permits have been denied here at the Capitol since I've been here. Very, very few, if any.
So someone can decide whether or not you're going to bend the rules.
Well, okay, it's not about bending the rules. It's looking at, but it's looking at every condition. I recently had a rally here on the 19th where there was at least 30 to 40,000 people there. At the last minute, we made some amendments to that rally so they could have, they needed power. They needed other things to happen that day to make sure the rally happened. And I'm not using the words and the rules because we accommodated, we compromised, just like we've done with every other group here. Now there has been, I would say, I was incorrect. I did not allow a particular permit last week because it was coincide with something else we had going on. I did not allow that. But I can tell you right now, and I don't think there's anyone in this room can say that we have denied your permit. We work very tirelessly to make sure these permits are granted. And I'm speaking, you have your turn. We work all the time. I'm gonna ask Dan, he can talk to you a little bit about what happened with the permit on yesterday involving our school kids who are traveling from a long distance, okay?
We received a call, and that was the school had a miscommunication. They didn't read their email correctly. And what happened was they were supposed to sing out at the executive residence when they have a tour group come through. They called and said, when are we supposed to show up on Thursday today? And it was Wednesday when they called. Well, they were supposed to be there Wednesday at that. So there was a miscommunication on that part. They had already scheduled a bus. They'd already scheduled things to come to Madison. And then they applied for a permit to come and sing in the Capitol because it was open. And we tried to accommodate that because of the miscommunication and because the school group had taken the time to get travel arrangements here in Madison and work with them to allow them to sing here in Madison. So that was the permit process, and that was why it was signed.
And I want to say one last thing on that, if I can. We made contact this morning with Chris from the Solidarity Singers, and he supported, well, I shouldn't say supported, I'm not going to say, he agreed that they would take the group and go outside. And I really think that's compromise. That's
What choice do we have?
Last night.
I know, but I'm just saying, we really do appreciate that. We really appreciate that. We really do. We appreciate the cooperation.
It wasn't a free choice.
That's not the issue. The issue is how you are applying the permit process.
And the policy itself allows the Capitol Police, they have the option of denying a permit if it's less than 72 hours. The chief and his department will try to accommodate, but if it's less than 72 hours and there's not a requirement, people will accommodate as best they can.
Thank you for taking my questions.